to River Timber Outdoors podcast. I'm Kevin Terwilliger. Here with me today is
AJ Latino.
today. We're just gonna go over just a season recap, not just fall season, but the whole year. We haven't got on and done anything for a while, and
Been about a year.
yeah, we just been busy. I guess you can say everybody else has been busy. Everybody's too busy to do anything. I mean, me.
Life gets in the way.
Yeah, that's just it. We don't have excuses for it. We've just been sloppy. And me, AJ, and Mo, we've got out on a lot of hunts this year, and we kind of want to recap because we've had some pretty fun, exciting stuff happen. So
Yep. Haven't got to do as much with John.
I don't think we've seen
Schedules.
John at all this year.
Yeah,
Hunting
schedules
season-wise.
haven't aligned. We did some deer hunting with Josh and got together
Elk.
with him quite a bit.
Elk hunting too.
Oh yeah, elk. But we started our season, spring bear. Went over to Idaho again.
And we
had
will have
with
Mo.
us.
We will have Mo on this one of these days.
Yep.
He's just busy. He's working a lot, and then he just flew to Japan, and now he's back at a bachelor party, and so he hasn't lined up for
Living
any of
his
this.
best single life. Not all of us can do that.
Yeah, the rest of us
So.
got families.
Yep.
Yeah, but no, so we packed up and headed to Idaho for spring bear again this year, and tried some different units that we thought would be okay. And first unit we got to looked great. Maps looked great. We did some research, and snow line was perfect. We put on this huge death march straight uphill. I mean, I'm not exaggerating.
Run a ridge, that's all you can do.
It was
Start at the bottom and end at the top.
the trail we started on was not a trail no more. It was so old, and it was called Hill Climb. Hill
Yep.
Climb Trail. And then, so we got all the way to where we thought it was just going to be perfect, and it was just old enough where we kind of failed on our e-scouting. It was too brushy.
Too dense.
It was too dense.
We couldn't glass from there. Everything looked great, Google Earth maps and stuff like that. But that's the thing, you never know until you got boots on the ground. And we got in there and we couldn't get any good vantage points of the area and whatnot, and figured, well, we're here, we're just gonna keep pushing. So we pushed deeper and deeper. What did we spend, like 2-3 days up there?
I think we spent a total of like a day and a half up there before we realized that everywhere we go, it's just timber and brush, and we'd have to jump something to be able to see it, and we weren't seeing hardly any sign either. Not a lot of green grasses, nothing we were looking for. So then we ended up.
That's right, we hiked out.
Yeah, we hiked out.
We camped one day up there.
Hunted most of that all day, and then hiked out right at last light.
Yep.
And then drove. I don't even remember how far. Same unit, I think we were in, and then we found the other spot.
Had a couple other spots that we had checked on the map.
We started hiking up through there, trying to get to a spot where the next spot we had in, and we started out an old trail, and what do you know, that trail didn't exist anymore. It was a fun trip. There was a lot of learning experience.
Yeah.
But we were just hiking along this creek bottom, and it was either a rock cliff or a creek bottom, and it was just so grown up and just pretty much impassable, because it would have took, to get where we were going, I think it was only 5 miles. And just to get through that creek bottom, I don't even know how, we were in there for like 2 hours and probably made it half a mile, because it was just so
Yep.
treacherous and rocky and mossy, slippery, and it was almost. We decided to if we had to pack something out of here, now instead of our packs being 60 to 80 pounds, being 120, that it probably wouldn't be safe. So as a half a day stretching through there, we backed out of there.
The snow line was a lot lower in that area too. We kind of started out at snow line, and by the time we got in there, it was like, yeah, we're into deep snow. The bears are gonna be down lower elevation and
Yeah, we were there a little earlier.
yeah.
So in 2023, the snow level was just wacky. It was a bunch of snow, then the sun came and melted everything super fast, and the snow line shot up, and there was no green. And last year, the snow level was doing what we wanted it to do, but it was a little lower than we would have liked it, but it still worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And so then then we backed out of there, and then we went
We hit that
even
other
further, right?
Yeah,
went
we
even
hit that
further.
other spot. We did that friggin' death march. We put on like
Yeah.
12 or 13 miles
We
that day.
were going to day hike up there for the evening, see if we liked it, because just the way the trail went along the highway. And so then we get up there.
No, I'm thinking the other spot where we put in. We were in there. We started out in the morning and we hiked in there for all day. We come out at. We decided we couldn't see much, and we came out at dark. We put on like 12 or 14 miles. that day.
Oh yeah, no, never mind. We didn't go to that different. We went back to a different. That's right. We went back to a different
Yeah.
spot after those two failed ones. So we went to a different spot where we had some intel from. So we went there and we were hunting and not really seeing much for bears. I missed a coyote.
Yeah.
Full running down the road, or not the road, isn't it clear cut, and running across a far road that nobody was on, and I popped the shot off at him, and then went and looked, and it was a clean miss, looked, and we ranged it, and he was, probably about 100 yards further than we thought, so I guessed for 300, and he was like 415 or something like that, so we missed him, and then we hunted in there for a few days. Mo ended up killing a turkey out of there.
Yep.
Got
In flip flops from a truck.
Got his first turkey. We had been on a few during the middle of the day, and nothing happened. And then we were headed into town to go get to our next spot. So we were dropped down through town and go. On our way down through town, a Tom comes out of the brush and walks across the road. Is just standing there in an open spot, and he blasted it.
He jumps out of the truck in flip flops with a shotgun. Safety on. So he misfires his first shot, or first attempted shot. Has enough time to make an actual shot on it, and drills it.
Yeah. It was fun. That was the first time I've really been a part of a turkey kill.
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, me and AJ hunted them, but not a huge lot. So then after that, we went to the next spot I was thinking we went to. Hiked way up this hill. We were checking it out, and it looked really good, but we wanted to be across the highway. Because across the highway looked better, and that's what we were glassing into. And we're like, okay, cool. Looking at that. And then I glass up this guy way on the other side of where we're glassing for bears, walking with his dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? That kind of sucks. And then we're like, oh, and then we're like, is he hunting or not? We couldn't tell because he's so far away. And then we end up hiking out to the truck, and we're like, doesn't matter, we're going to go to that spot tomorrow. And as we're getting to the truck, that guy had walked his way all the way out and was parked at the same trailhead we were.
Yep.
And then we ended up bullshitting with him till what, 3 in the morning?
Yeah, it was something like that, Started out as a, hey, how you doing, and how's your luck going, and yeah, we ended up BSing with him till late into the evening, and then we all crashed out in the trailhead parking lot there.
Yeah.
Figured out our game plans for the next day so we wouldn't impede on each other and whatever. And
yeah, shout out to Stefan. He's an awesome dude. I mean, if you want to check out, he's got an apparel company. He's out of Montana. It's called Work to Live MT. So if you want to give him a follow and likes on Facebook, Instagram, buy some of his clothing, it's pretty much, he's like, work to live. Work to live means I work so I can afford to hunt. It's kind of his motto, and that's what he works for. Is
super cool guy.
Awesome guy.
But yeah, and then from there, the hell else do we do?
Stefan told us to go to that one spot, so then we went over there and hunted around there for our last few days. Found this really awesome spot. seen a lot of deer, elk, still no bears, but we had all the right signs. And then
Yep.
our last day was going to be hit with a torrential downpour rainstorm.
Yep.
So
High winds, rain.
So we left the night early.
Yeah. We had it already started, and at that point we decided it's probably not going to be too much activity going on. Bears are not like blacktail; they like to get out of the weather.
Yeah, and it was our last day. We were only gonna hunt half a day, so was it
Yep.
really worth sitting there getting soaked in the morning and not seeing a bear? I mean, we could have stayed, could have happened, but after sitting in that spot for 3 days that we thought was just perfect and not even seeing one bear, kind of,
Yeah, I mean we seen everything else.
yeah, it was.
We just weren't in good enough bear country, I guess.
No, it was a good time though.
Oh yeah,
And then so, fast forward.
got us warmed up for elk season.
Yeah.
Deer season.
Fast forward a couple weeks, Mo went back with Stefan. They didn't see any bears. They had a good time. And then fast forward into August, me and Mo, we went fall bear hunting. Him and a couple of his buddies we met, did a hunt or two, nothing
Yep.
but rattlesnakes, and no bears for the first day. And then me and Mo were like, you know what, let's go on Audible. Let's just go somewhere else. So we blast to this spot overnight, drive like 4.5 hours in the middle of the night, sleep in the trucks, I wake up in the morning, it's just cracking daylight. I'm like, alright, so I pee. I'm like, oh, that looks like a nice wide open meadow there, at the trailhead. We don't even know what it looks like. And I'm like, cause we've never been there. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I throw up my binos, there's a bear. And I'm like, holy cow. So then I get Mo. I'm like, Mo, bear, bear, bear. And I see another one. And he frantically gets up and looks. And he's like, oh, cool. And then two bears I saw had vanished. And we never saw him come back out. And then we spotted another bear in the same spot, just a little higher. So we grabbed our gear, hiked all the way up there, got to where he was going to be. We had an eye on him all the way. It was like 500 yards we didn't have an eye on him. And then we made it quick and we got up there. And by that time he had fed away and we never saw him again. Waited for him to come out. It didn't happen. Went back down to the truck because Mo's buddy Dan was coming to meet us. Met Dan, packed up all our gear, and then hiked way back in there. Got to the spot probably right before the evening. Ended up seeing, I think, 3 bears in that spot right in the evening. Saw one. Went to go get set up on him. Went to this little patch of trees. Never coming back out. We were waiting. And then I looked below, and another bear had popped out right below us. And so I got set up on the rifle. This is where the story gets interesting. So then we get a shot. They're filming. I was stupid, and before this hunt, I messed with my rifle. I played around with my trigger, like any good person shouldn't do, before and not shoot it. And so when I went to get set up on this bear, I got him in the scope. My crosshairs weren't on him. I just got him in the scope. Yeah, I was going through my routine, got down. None of us had earplugs in yet, because we were just getting through my routine. I wanted to get on him and see and put him in right before I put earplugs in. But as soon as I put my scope on him and I put my finger on the side of my trigger, I didn't even put my finger over the trigger, and the gun fired and I missed him.
That's what happens when you accidentally set your trigger to 1.5 pounds and never fire it before season.
Yeah, when your adrenaline's going too, I probably
Yeah.
touched the trigger a little harder than I thought, but then Mo and Dan are both like, thanks for the warning, I didn't have ear protection, and I said, I didn't either, I wasn't ready to shoot. And then we all just laughed it off, and it sucked, and we sat there for 5 more minutes, and wouldn't you know, another bear popped out. And then that one was just a little too far, we never did be able to make a move on it before dark. But then we woke up to rain, and my teepee was leaking, so me and Mo were soaked. the next morning, and that was the day we had to leave. We were planning
Shout
on,
out to Peaks, right?
yeah, we were planning on hunting that morning, and then we woke up soaked, sleeping bags are soaked, and it was just dumping rain. So we watched for bears for probably about an hour or two. Nothing came out, so then we just hiked out in the rain, went home, and then so that was kind of the bear seasons. The bear season, I mean, it was fun. We had a good time. Don't get us wrong, but it just should have happened, would have, could have, but didn't. And then fast forward to archery deer season.
Yeah. The way we deer hunt around here is just little day hunts, day hikes. We don't pack in. We live close to where we hunt.
There's really nowhere to pack in right by us.
No, not really. I mean,
Just the road systems.
yeah.
They're all open
And what's not, hike in spend a day in there, hiking around, put a few miles in, and then hike out. It's just, we don't have a need to backpack hunt them here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of what we do is a mix between road hunting and packing in for a day. We see a lot of deer that way. Some days are better than others. This season started out pretty slow. We weren't spotting a whole lot, and then finally we got the weather we needed. The blacktail around here, they're slugs. They love a good rain.
yeah.
They come out.
Well, and a lot of the hunting that he's talking about they were doing around is kind of like most of it's new hunters or new to archery or women that are just getting into it type of deal.
Yeah.
So like my wife, Josh's wife.
Yeah, so we're not trying to take them on any death marches either.
Well, that's just it. And they don't care if they're shooting a doe or how hard it is. We're trying to get the experience under their belts of just shooting animals, and they don't care. They love it. They're addicted to it now.
The other thing is generally with the deer hunting, it's a meat hunt for us. We're not out there chasing trophies or, trying to get a state record blacktail or any of that crap. We're just trying to put some meat in the freezer. We all really enjoyed the blacktail meat, and
Yeah, it
So-
kind of benefits because I got 3 tags in my household, so
yep,
I can be picky. So, and that's kind of what I've been doing the last few years. Is my wife and daughter, they hunt, they can kill whatever they want. I'm never gonna tell them they can't shoot a doe if they want to shoot a doe.
yeah,
Like if it's legal, they want to shoot it, you can shoot it. If you want to hold out, hold out. I'm not gonna make you shoot something. That's just how I roll. But so, my wife doesn't care. She's still new to it. So she's killed 3 deer 3 years in a row now. So she's just
Yeah.
doesn't care. Does,
With a
spikes,
bow.
whatever. She's having fun doing it. So I mean, like AJ said, we hunted probably, I think it was the first 3 or 4 days
yeah.
and didn't hardly see much deer.
No, and then we finally started to get some moisture in the air and some wet weather, and
Which is not normal. Normally we kill 2 on opening weekend.
yeah, opening day we normally between the group we shoot a bunch of deer within the first week. So, but this year start off really slow. Had a bunch of missed opportunities, and that generally when we do deer, we try and get the wives and the kids and all that stuff. They're first shooters, so we try and get their tags filled, and then from there it kind of opens up for us that if they want to come and hang out, they've got the opportunity to. But
We take a
first
lot of
hunts are
kids.
for them.
We take a lot of kids. That's why there's a
Yeah.
lot of road hunting. Like my son is 5, Josh's son is 4,
Yeah,
and then our
My-
daughters are 8 and 9. Like
yep,
they can do more hiking than the little guys, and even then, so we've been taking those guys for 3 years now. So back when they were 2 and 3, so
Yeah.
it's not like we can just traipse around and. So we're just kind of
We're
taking.
building them up though. I mean,
Oh yeah, they're getting
shit,
better. They're going on
they
more
can
hikes
pull a
and
5 mile hike now.
Yeah. We take them on the little ones, but just sometimes it's easier to just go out with the family and drive around. And they like seeing deer. They like seeing deer get shot. So let them
Yep.
just ingrain it into them that and when they get older, you can teach them how to hunt other ways. Like
this is where your food comes
my
from.
daughter this year, she did not hardly want to road hunt at all. She wanted to hike.
Oh yeah.
That's what she was into, and I'm like, perfect, let's do it. Like, I told her the only reason we really road hunt is because when you're tired and you can't walk, or because I don't even know why anymore.
Honestly, we have good success road hunting with a bow.
Yeah, that's true.
We've got our methods, and it works the majority of the time. I mean, there's a lot of missed opportunities, but we get a lot of kills out of it. I mean, you hiked around. We put a lot of stock into trying to get Haley her first deer.
Yeah,
Kevin's daughter, and that didn't happen this year.
No, we can't.
But
close.
Haley also, she's not bow hunting; she's rifle.
Yeah, she passed her hunter safety in August, so she was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, she's not up to poundage yet to bow hunt, but I mean, let's see, Hannah was the first one to
Yeah, I think it was like
tag out, right?
After work one day, right? We went in there. It was like the
Yep.
fourth day. We were just like, oh, let's quick little hunt, and we're like, let's check a spot we haven't been. Like the last 5-6 years, we've been hunting this area, and just the deer have been there, and just now we're not seeing deer there. And it was just slow, so we
Yep.
went up this one spot, and lo and behold, we were on the way to a spot we wanted to sit and watch, and on the way up there's a spike.
Yep.
And so she got out and was able to put an arrow in him, and he died in 40 yards, just piled up.
Yep.
She was over the moon. My son was happy.
You gotta tell them the cluster of that story though, like the details, because I don't know how your wife kills deer. It's amazing. She somehow manages to find the dumbest deer in the woods, which is perfect because they taste great. But
She's still learning too, though.
so we're rolling up the road, heading to our spot, and I don't remember if it was you or me who spotted it, but I think it was you. It was off of your side, driver's side, and spots a spike on the hill, and he just stands there, and we stop, and he just stands there and watches us. No more than 25 yards outside the truck door. And he's sitting there, and we're watching him for a second. We're trying to tell Hannah to get ready, and
we're asking her if she wants to shoot it.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, do you want to shoot it, AJ? And he's like, no, I don't care. You can shoot it if you want.
Yeah, so we're having the debate, trying to talk her into stepping out of the truck, and then she finally decides she's going to shoot this thing. And this is probably a minute and a half of debating this, and it's just standing there, and then drop its head down and take a few bites and walk a couple steps, and she finally opts to shoot it. So literally in the truck, she opens the door, falls out of the truck, and this deer just looks at her, this spike. He's a nice spike. He's got, 9-inch spikes or something?
Yeah, it's like probably 7 to 8.
Decent spike. And he just watches her. And
Starts to walk away.
Yeah, he starts to walk away. Not run, just slowly step away. And she's banging around her release on her bow riser and all
this. And the door on the truck of the door, and she finally gets an arrow knocked, and he starts walking to her.
Yep. And, I range it for her and give her a good range, and she lets one fly and just smokes him. Absolutely smoked him.
It was perfect. I mean, you could see as soon as that arrow made impact, you could see the blood just fly.
But I mean, this whole thing between us spotting the deer and her actually taking the shot, It was probably a few minute long process that deer just hung out.
Yeah. Nobody was really, I don't know if you want to say anybody was ready or rearing to shoot anything. I mean, it was still early in the season. They're just like, hey, do you want it? Do you want it? Like, 9 times out of 10, this doesn't work out. You know, we got to go through so many deer before we can actually get a shot at one. Or
Yep.
So it's just kind of like, oh, what happens, it happens. You know, nobody gets upset. And then so she ended up getting that one. And then the rest of the season,
we had the
before
kids
elk
with
season.
us that trip. So
It was just Bo. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Haley was pissed. She wasn't
Yeah,
with
because
us.
the day she just said, I don't feel like going.
Yeah,
hunting
she wanted
today."
to hang out with Layla. So we had Bo with us and got, good family photos, and Bo helped process up the deer or field dress it and got it in the truck, and he helped take the coat off and quarter it and debone it.
He helps with everything. He's
At
into
that point,
it.
for us, it's kind of a family affair. Deer goes down, and we get it to our location, and the calls get sent out, and people start showing up. So we had Josh and Danny and Waylon up here, and
Well, they were up here hunting too.
yeah, they're hunting in the area. So we all came and took care of it, got it taken care of, and moved on to trying to fill the next tag.
And then I think we didn't really see much. We had one good day. You weren't out there. It was me, Josh, Danny, Hannah, and the kids. And Danny had a day where we were seeing a lot of deer. They
Yeah,
were
she got
out.
some shots.
She missed like 3 or 4 shots in a row. And I'm like, what is going on with you? And she's like, I don't know. I was aiming there. So then the next day I was like, you know what? We're taking the day off hunting. Let's go to the house and let's shoot your bow. Come to find out, her bow was out of time. It was just mad out of time. Her rest was way off. So at that point, she was out of arrows. So we had to go buy her new arrows. I cut and built her arrows and tuned her broadheads. Made a makeshift press because I don't have one yet, and got her bow in time in my kitchen. And then we started shooting it, and then she just lights out. Broadheads, field points hitting the same. She's just hitting not a single deer she saw to shoot the rest of the season.
Yep.
And then fast forward, it was like a week, like not even a week later, we'd roll into elk season.
It was we rolled into elk season. So we did the one hunt, and then we came back home, the one weekend hunt. And we came back home, and it was before elk.
It wasn't before elk season. We were elk hunting, right? So, yeah, 'cause we were still elk hunting when you killed that. So we were elk hunting. The first 100 spot we hunted last year, that was just
Opening weekend,
or the last 2 weekends for us were pretty productive. So we were pretty excited, and we're like, let's go back there. Nothing. Place was a ghost town.
Yeah.
We met Mo up there. He was saying the same thing. I think his buddy shot at a bull he had on camera up there. Opening morning, got lucky. Just happened to be right where he was. Missed it or something like that. And so then we drew up plans, and I was like, you know what? This is a spot I used to hunt. Let's go check it out. So we went down there. I mean, it's not super far. Probably 40-minute drive,
Yeah.
if that. So then we went there. Actually, no, you went home then, didn't you?
Yeah, because I didn't take the
Entire
take the
week.
full season. I just did
He did a few
like
days.
an extended weekend hunt.
So he went home. So me, Josh, and Hannah went to this spot on Hannah's birthday, and I'm like, well, let's go in here. You never know. So we're walking, and I am bugling. We hear a bugle. I'm like, sweet. So we get him located. We drop down in. We're working this bull for like an hour and a half. He's just going nuts and chuckling, and then he's kind of not getting any closer. And as we're moving closer, and I'm like, well, he's either in the bottom of a hole, or I don't know what's going on. So then I bark at him. Scream, chuckle. He just lights up, gets super mad, Still not moving, goes silent again. I bark at him again. He starts lighting up again. Finally, we get down in his zone. I see him over there raking a tree. I have Josh and Hannah go down the hill, get set up, and I start calling him, working him into me. Everything's working perfect. He's just raking, and I bark and chuckle and just give him a nasty one. He starts coming right in. He needs about 20, 25 more yards to like get in front of Hannah, broadside, perfect, like 30-yard shot, maybe even closer. He stops. His head goes up, but when he came out of the trees, he had alders all over his antlers, like streamers, just walking, covering his face. He couldn't even see. He stops, his head goes up, he turns around, runs the other way. And, you know, Josh and Hannah come up, they're like, what happened? What happened? I'm like, he smelt us. The wind switched right at the last second. We needed 5 more seconds, and that bull was dead. Hannah would have got a birthday bull. Nice, big 5x6. So, then, whatever. You know, we hunt the rest of the day, and they're back out, meet Mo. Hannah has to go home that night because our daughter's got her doctor's appointment the next day. So Hannah goes home, takes him home, or goes home, and me and Josh hunt with our buddy Mo and his buddy Chia. So we do a hunt and not really on much. So then the next day, Hannah's gone. Me and Josh go right back in that spot. I'm like, well, what's the odds? Maybe we'll get back on him. He's in there somewhere. We're sitting about almost the exact same spot. Another bull bugles. This time back further in a different little finger. So we go through him, cross the swamp knee deep to get across and get over there to where he's at. And we finally get him coming. Finally, we see him. He's coming right to us. Josh says, you get set up. So I get set up in front of him, and that bull's coming, and that bull's at like 55 yards. All he needed to do was 2 steps right to be in the open, or 5 steps forward to come out of the tree he was in, and didn't either. Just disappeared. Went silent, disappeared. And right, as soon as that happened, I was like, what happened? And I felt the wind hit my back. So the wind switched on us again when we just needed him to do 10 more seconds. And I was like, whatever. So we hunt the rest of the day in there. We were way in there on that bull. Hike out, still hunting, nothing. The end of the day, we're sitting at camp. Hannah shows back up. You know, we're just hanging out. And next morning, I'm like, well, let's go back to the spot again. And I'm like, there's no way it's going to happen a third time. But you never know. Third time's a charm. Let's just see. And those are 2 different bulls, by the way. I didn't know if I mentioned that. So we go in there. We're almost at the exact spot again. And another bull bugles. This time he's down the ridge more. So we make way down the ridge. I get Hannah set up. And he's fired up. Just going nuts. And next thing you know, these cows, they just start barreling over the hill at us. And we're getting ready for that bull to come over the hill because he sounded like he was coming right to us. Wind switches. Phil hit the back of my neck again. Go across the whole herd. Then they start going and take off, and we tried to pursue them most of the day and never could quite catch back up to them. And I don't know if the bull just went silent or I don't know where they went. We tried looping around a different spot, getting on them, and it just never worked. We never picked them back up, and then pretty much that rest of the season we didn't really have any more encounters. It just kind of died off there. It was just a good little stretch.
Yeah, I mean, we did a lot of hiking.
Oh, in between that time though. No, I think it was after we saw all the elk, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
After we saw it the next day, Josh ended up shooting a spike deer out of there. No, that was the day Hannah was gone. That's right, yeah. We ended up shooting a spike deer right before dark. Got it back to camp. Josh took it home. Came back the next morning, and then we got on that bull. And then we get a text from AJ was it the next day?
No, it was the same day. I'm pretty sure me and Josh killed him on the same day.
Oh yeah, it was, huh?
Yeah, I was hunting in the area by the house and just because I had worked, did a little hunt. This was like a Wednesday or something. Did a after work hunt. I had probably 2 hours before shooting light to go out and hunt, so I went up and started cruising logging roads, and had a doe pop out. She crossed the road in front of me and that, and I kind of, I still had plenty of time in the season, so I kind of hem-hawed whether I was going to try and make a play on her. I was solo, and that, and I mean, she had me dead to rights, I was just in a truck, so I decided, I'll make a play. So I step out of the truck, and she don't react too much, and I start kind of moseying my way to her, and she didn't react too much, and getting ranges on her, and I think I had her at the truck. I ranged her from in the truck. I was like 78 yards or something like that. So I moseyed to her, and I got within about 50. I think I took like a 56-yard shot at her. She was, by the time I got into that range, she got a little bit jittery, so I decided I was going to let one fly, and arrow landed perfect, clean pass through, she took off. I could see my arrow sticking out of the ground. I decided I was going to just go in because she bolted. The shot looked good, everything looked great. I was going to go, I knew where my arrow was sitting. I was going to go check the blood on my arrow, and from there, give it a little bit of time and start tracking. So I look at the blood on the arrow and all the signs, and indicates I had a pretty solid shot. It wasn't lungs, most likely heart, the way the blood looked. So I'm like, well, I'll look around for first blood. And at that point, I'll stop and give it some time. So I start looking for first blood, and I can't find anything. And I've done like a 10-yard grid, and I can't find any blood in the direction of travel. So I start to expand out, and I go about 15 yards, and I literally stumbled on top of her piled up. So at that point, I was alone. I wasn't far from the truck. She died a few hundred yards from the truck, the way the angles were, and the forest and the roads and everything. But anyways, the way I drug her out, the easier path to get her out of there, it was a few 100-yard drag. So I drug her out, loaded her up, brought her home, sent out a text to these guys, and that, hey, I got a deer, Now I got to process this thing up, make sure I got it all taken care of, because I got a weekend. I got to get out to the coast, and that's generally where we hunt elk and meet these guys. So I ended up doing that, getting her home, and the wife and the kid helped me take her down and process the meat. And on the way in, on the way home, when I texted him, that's when I got the text from you guys that Josh had dropped one, and whatnot. And you guys were heading back this way, so we took care of his, got his all taken care of when you guys showed up, and then we met up, went and spent the rest of the time in the elk woods. Didn't really get a whole lot of action from then on out.
No.
In the elk woods.
No, not really.
And then, let's see, after that, we kind of focused. You had your high country.
No, we went and hunted with Haley during rifle season.
Oh yeah, we spent a lot of time with Haley.
Yeah, opening morning, it just couldn't have worked out any better, but It could have. When we get up opening morning and we're hiking in with the kids, and next thing you know, Bo starts crying. His ear hurts. We're halfway up this clear cut, 30 degrees. 5:30 in the morning, and so him and Hannah sit down lower. Me and Haley finish our hike. We end up seeing 3 deer, 2 does, 2 spikes. They're moving fast. Not really. They don't see us or nothing. They're just moving along through the clear cut, just getting to cover, not running, and they disappear. One of them was a piebald. So Haley thought that was just super cool, and so the next morning, or actually not even that, we take the kids to the doctors, find out they both have double ear infections. So when there are antibiotics, Haley, she gets up the next morning, goes hunting, while Hannah and Bo stay home. We hike up the same clear cut, go to the same spot, and wouldn't you know it, we jump we jump a herd of elk at like 30 yards. Bunch of cows just sitting there staring at us.
And this is an area that has rumors of holding elk, but that's all they've been, is rumors.
Yeah, and it's not even the spot that they would be in right there.
Yeah.
And so we're like, oh, that's cool. And she was like, oh, first time she's seen elk in the wild, like up close type of deal. And she's thinking it's just so cool. And then they kind of take off, and I'm like, well, crap, there's probably not going to be nothing up here. We can go up and look down the hill, see everything's down the hill. We get to it's probably 50 yards past where we jumped the elk. We jump a spike buck. He's like 30 yards from us. Takes a few bounces, stops by the edge of this tree line, and is just standing there broadside. I'm trying to get Haley in a spot where she can see it because there's 2 little alders in front of us, and then get her on the gun, and he's standing there. By the time she sees him, we get the gun set up on the bipod. He walks off, disappears out of our lives. And then the next day, my buddy from work was hunting the same area. He's like, hey, I seen a piebald yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I know. Was it in this spot? He's like, yeah. He's like, it's a spike. I told Haley, and she was stuck on killing that thing.
Oh, yeah.
We never saw him again, never saw that other spike again. Hunted that clear cut a few times, seen some more elk. Nice 6-point bull. She got to see that. She thought that was amazing because she spotted it. And then we hunted some other spots, and we had a few deer we got on, just never really quite could make it happen with her level of experience because she's just so young and. No, first year she can't just pull up the gun and shoot, and we're not going to be that. We were trying to find the right deer for her at the right time where she can get comfortable, make a good shot, so we could do everything right. That was our plan. We weren't going to rush anything, do anything, and we just had a bunch of opportunities where it was just we were so close, but apparently they just weren't the right deer. And that was just all regular season. We probably had 6-7 different bucks that we. Maybe 8 that we just couldn't get shots on. It is what it is.
Which kind of solidifies the point, as a parent when you're hunting with young kids and that, you gotta have a huge amount of patience and just, you're gonna have a lot of missed opportunities. There's gonna be a lot of frustration, and you gotta try and make it so it's not a horrible experience for the kid. Otherwise, you're gonna push them out.
Like when she wanted to go home, we went home. Because if she was cold, we went home. If she didn't want to be there anymore, we went home. Because that's just how it was. Like, if she doesn't want to be there, you force her to be there, she's not gonna want to do it anymore, and that's not what we want.
Yeah, I know. Some of my upbringing, I had a little bit.
We grew up
more
different.
Harsher reality.
Yeah, we grew up different. You're out here, you're not going anywhere. I don't care how cold it is, what it is. But nowadays, with the way things are, we gotta let these kids enjoy it. And when they're young, maybe when she's a couple years older, like you made this bed, you're gonna lay in it type of deal. But as of right now, we're getting into it. And then late season, our late buck, we went out. We did a couple. I think we went out for 3 days. We did me, her, and AJ did a big hike. Saw a bunch of deer, couple
and rain,
couple poached deer.
The kid's a trooper, man.
Yeah, she is. We never seen any bucks, but
Yep.
And she had a good time. And elk season, that was right before late buck. We went out with her, saw a bunch of cows. We were 5 seconds behind getting a bull, and just didn't work out. We only hunted the one weekend, and then she wasn't really into the elk hunting because it was we had to walk so much. I mean, she loved walking for deer hunting, but we didn't have to constantly be walking because with deers we're walking to a spot, walking to a clear cut. With elk, I mean, it was just find the elk, find the elk, find the elk. It's the area that I've hunted my whole life, and that's where we archery hunt. So it's like, we gotta go check this hole, we gotta go check this, we gotta go check this. She's like, this is too much for me. And looking back, probably was, but being in my mind, like, we gotta go, we gotta get there. There's other people, it's rifle hunters,
I think some of that too stems from deer season. When we're hunting deer, we generally see a lot more animals versus trying to chase down the elk and stuff like
We
that.
saw a bunch of elk.
It's just
We just did a lot of
Yeah.
hiking, and she's just,
she was over it by then.
yeah, she's just,
Couple
she was
months
the
of
first
hiking.
day she was, because we did a lot where we were through the timber, just through
Mhm.
all this, and over blowdowns, and I mean, we were going slow, but it was just a little much
Yeah.
for her,
Yeah.
so that was it, and then,
Then you went.
yeah, then me and Mo,
Yep.
because
you
we
guys
didn't
did the
really
Leavenworth
even
hunt.
deer hunt at all this year, because we would go up and east side mule deer, and it was rough. The season was later this year. We went to the normal spots. He was there almost a whole week before I was, and not seeing much, seeing does, couple young bucks, and normally we're seeing everywhere, just spikes and forking horns and just bucks everywhere, and all we were seeing was does. There's a lot of does. We were seeing a couple spikes, a couple forking horns, but nothing like crazy. And if we did see them, they were by themselves, which really wasn't normal at all. So then we switched up spots, found a new spot, and then on the way up, we see this buck barreling down this hill. Someone had bumped him, and he's barreling out. And he kind of gets his feet under him, gets way down canyon, and kind of settles down and starts feeding and going back to being a deer again. We make this idea, like, we're going to go put a stalk on him. I didn't think he was killable. Nobody did, but we're like, we seen him. That's the only legal buck we saw. We've got to try something. If it was just me and Mo, would have never happened. But we met some cool guys up there. They're like, oh yeah, we'll hunt them together. They're like, one of us, one guy's like, I already got my deer, so why don't you three go make a stalk and I'll sit over here and watch him. So if he leaves, I can call you guys off and you're not wasting your time and blah, blah, blah. We're like, okay, sweet. So we get over there, post hoeing through knee deep snow. We get to where he's at, and he's like, no, he went over the next finger now. So we go around the next finger, we start dropping down, we spread out probably 50, 75 yards wide, start working down this finger, and I bump a doe at like 20 yards. She's staring at me, and then she walks off. I just hold still, and then I make a little more ground on her, down to where I think the buck's gonna be, and then there she is again. Like 15 yards this time. Same thing, stare down. She walks off. I'm like, okay, maybe. She walked up to the right. I'm like, maybe if I keep going straight, I won't bump her again. Next thing you know, boom, 3 more does at 10 yards. I'm like, oh, great. Like, this thing's gone now. There's not a chance. Stare down with them. They walk away. I walk over the hill, and I see another deer. And I'm like, oh, crap. And then he picks his head up. There he is. That's the buck. Staring at me, big old 4x4 with eye guards, big old mule deer. And I'm like, alright, perfect. So I range him. My rangefinders tell me 35, 35, 35. I'm looking at him. I said, there's no way that buck is 35. Not a chance. It's a little foggy. Rangefinder must have been hitting fog or something. So I was like, he's probably about 50. So I guessed 50. Drew back, anchored in. Everything felt good. Shot broke. I watched my arrow. It was tracking perfectly. Drops right underneath of him. So he must have been 60, maybe a little bit further than 60. He kind of just walks off before I can get another arrow in him, and we never did see him again or see another buck that trip.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was hard hunting up there. Deep snow, a lot of people, not a lot of bucks, a lot of does, but it was rough, and that's just kind of what we went out one day for late blacktail. You went out with me, and we did
Yeah.
a big old hike and didn't see nothing, and calls are quits.
Yep.
Cause I hunt,
That was
I
like
hate hunting late
2 days
blacktail.
before the last season, or the last day too. No, I guess it was like a week before the last day of season for blacktail in that area.
It might have been the last day. I don't remember, but yeah, I mean,
Yep.
we had a good, fun, exciting season.
Yep.
It just all didn't pan out as well. A couple big mistakes by me, but
And out of the group, I mean, we got some animals in the freezer.
yep,
Not as many as we would have liked, but we got some stuff.
2 deer and a turkey,
Yep.
or 3 deer and a turkey.
3 deer and a turkey. We're still chasing these elusive bears.
Yeah,
I think,
I should have had a fall bear,
yeah,
but it's okay.
I think we'll have to start planning our spring bear trip.
I've been playing for like
This
2
year.
months. I've been east scouting.
So hopefully the weather treats us right.
Yeah, I think it should. Should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just kind of want to jump on here, give you guys a quick recap of the season. I know we like hearing other people's recaps, how things
Mhm.
went, their successes, their failures, and just you can learn from this stuff. I learn
Yep.
from it all the time when people tell me about this, you know, and maybe they didn't learn from it, but I'm like, well, did you try this? Oh no, I didn't think about that, you know, and it's just different perspective.
Yep.
That's all it is. So
Yeah.
but yeah, we just want to share the stories with you guys, and maybe we'll get Mo on here and we'll do some more in-depth stuff because he knows how to tell a story.
Mhm.
He's very good at it. He's very
For sure.
good personality, great guy, love the guy to death. But thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yep. Have a good one, guys.